Good evening and welcome to the Monday, March 24, 2025 meeting of the Lakeville Planning Board. It is 6:03 p.m. and we are meeting remotely. We have LakeCAM recording this evening, and in accordance with the provisions allowed by Chapter 2 of the Acts of 2023, the March 24, 2025 public meeting of the Lakeville Planning Board will be held remotely. However, to view this meeting in progress, please go to facebook.com/LakeCAM. You do not need a Facebook account to view the meeting. This meeting will be recorded and available to be viewed at a later date at http://www.lakecam.tv/. You may also view the meeting using the following Zoom link, which was posted to the town website. So is anyone else recording this evening? No, and we do have a quorum. I don't anticipate us taking any votes this evening, but we have John Cabral, Dan Wilga, David Lodge, and myself, Michelle McEachran, here tonight for planning board members. We also have our town planner, Nancy Durfee, and clerk Kathy Murray with us this evening. The reason that I called this meeting is because it is our last day and night with our town planner. And I felt it was necessary to go over and tie up as many things that we could with her prior to her leaving, because she will not be with us on Thursday. So Nancy, thank you for joining us one last time.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm really happy to be here with you all and finish up any last things that you have questions on as you move forward on Thursday night.
Thank you. So the first item on the agenda is stormwater bylaw concerns / discussion. So this was something that in discussing with Nancy, there's certain things that should go along with the adoption of this bylaw. Because it's a new bylaw, it should have a process, it should have an application. It should have a set of standard conditions like we usually do with our decisions for site plan review, and as well as any sort of other pieces that go along with it. I was hopeful that she would be able to help us get that over the finish line. I was aiming at Springtown meeting. But at this point, I don't feel confident presenting this to town meeting because of the unknowns. I did go to the select board meeting when Serpent did the presentation, and they did not yet vote on who's going to administer the stormwater bylaw. So it seems like there's too many things still not worked out yet. And if you're all in agreement, I'm thinking we shouldn't rush it and probably hold off until fall for it at this point, which I'm disappointed because I've been working on this since I think last May. I started meeting with Nate and Frank and talking to Serpent and all of that. And I know they were working on our timeline, so I do feel bad about pushing it off, but I think I don't feel comfortable presenting it to town meeting without having everything, all the answers that I feel are needed to go along with this.
No, I agree. I think if we're not, why present it? Like I said, it's better off getting it all the way done before we start pushing it in front of everyone.
Right, and I also think it'll be good to tie any loose ends, and just make sure that everything is as laid out as possible. So yeah, I think I'm fine with that decision as well.
Yeah, it's just a few months delay on it, and better to have all the I's dotted and T's crossed.
All right, so Thursday is when we're going to be voting on the items to send to select board. So if you've noticed, the stormwater was not included in that agenda, so I wanted to just let you all know that I had left it off because I didn't think it was ready. So I just wanted everybody to be on the same page.
Sure.
Any more comments, questions, concerns about the stormwater bylaw? Nancy, I don't know if you wanted to share anything additional, or Kathy?
I think you've covered everything that, came to light on the stormwater bylaw and all the reasonings for holding it off till fall town meeting. I would say the same, given the same set of circumstances. So I think it just needs a little bit more work, and a little bit of more process of how it's going to be implemented as well. And then I think you'd be ready for the fall. It's not a heavy lift. It's doable.
Okay, thank you. All right, I will move on to agenda item number 2, site plan review, edit to uses discussion. We do have that in our packet. And Nancy, did you want to speak to the items that were revised in here?
Sure. So one of the things that I noticed is that you're often seeing applications without actual uses associated with them, which makes it difficult when it comes down to your site plan review process. For instance, the parking, and I will use a hairdresser as an example. Say you have 4 hairdressers' chairs, you have 4 clients in each chair. At about 10 of the hour, when it's going to switch to a new client in the chair, 4 new clients will show up. So now you have 8 clients at that building to be to have their hair done. So now you have to adjust for that in the parking when you're doing site plan review to assure that there is appropriate parking for even a slight overlap, so that to make sure that those things are met. And other departments as well, when they take a look at it for the sewer, septic, what will it need if it's got a more aggressive use at the site? What types of systems would you be looking at? So those things are key to know, like what's going to happen inside the building as well. It doesn't have to be to detail, but enough so that you can give a full overview of the site plan review process. And so what was suggested was that under 270-6.7, section A.2, to add use as part of your purpose. And so it would read, site plan review is to ensure that the use, design, and layout of certain developments are permitted. So that kind of flows better, and it also gives the person who's reviewing the bylaws for a project the understanding that the use is also important to the community. And then to clarify that further, and the requirement for proposed uses under 270-6.7, section D, number 19 is to add a statement of proposed use when they're applying for the permit. So those 2 things I think would cover that. It's been sent to Amy for her review. I don't know that she's responded back to me as of yet, so you may want to clarify that with her on Thursday night. But I think that those 2 items would help kind of satisfy the need of knowledge of what's happening.
I think this is a great addition. I'm glad that you picked up on it. Does anyone have any questions, comments, concerns?
None here.
No, I'm good.
Well set.
So we will review that on Thursday with Amy then, and potentially vote to have it placed on the warrant. Agenda item number 3, planning department outstanding items discussion. So are there other items that you want to discuss with us, Nancy, before you go? Anything that
I think I was able to cover a lot with Kathy before the end of today. We did hold a meeting with both 2 of the peer engineer reviewers to kind of pass off information to Kathy so that she's getting the kind of information she needs to administer assistance to the planning board, including any conditions that should be flagged for your final decisions. as under special conditions. You want to make sure that you're hitting those high notes. And then also, when it turns to construction, you want to make sure that it's carrying forward the peer review. What process would they like to work on with Kathy to make sure that once they come to the point where they go into construction, that they're notifying the community that they're going forward, and that a pre-construction meeting be held at that point in time. A check could be collected, and then the work begins with inspections as outlined in your rules and regs. I provided that both to Michelle and to Kathy, where in the section it situates, so that if there are any questions from anyone going forward, you are covered in those sections. Let's see, there's always going to be things that I hadn't thought of, and you're more than welcome to reach out to me with any questions you might have going forward that might be missing, or a loose end that I hadn't anticipated. Yeah, I don't know if you have any questions for me as well. I think I wrapped up some of the projects, at least got you to a place where you could be making some decisions. And Amy will be with you Thursday night, as she would be there for the executive session, but she's also going to be there to follow up on any of the bylaw questions you might have, or any of the projects that are moving forward.
Now, you were also working on getting a deep dive through our zoning bylaws. And you did give me
Correct.
the contact information. Where does that stand at this point?
So I would contact Jonathan Silverman. And he is in the process of writing a proposal for the community.
Okay.
And just let him know that that you are still interested. If the town is still interested in that audit, he would be happy to work with the community. He was very excited about the prospect. He just hadn't been able to get the proposal completed yet.
Okay.
It was my understanding from the town administrator that there would be funding available to conduct this process. So it wouldn't be a grant, it would be something that would be funded by the town, but that doesn't mean that it isn't something that couldn't be funded by a grant if that's the way the community wanted to go. I think the one-stop program is still open right now, and he could add that in as maybe technical assistance under mass development, or some other program format that would
Right, and I
work for
guess
that as well.
that would be something, once we get the proposal, see how much, go from
Correct.
there.
Yeah, yeah, and take and read the proposal through if you want me to take a look at it as well, to make sure it hits all the high points of what you're hoping to accomplish.
Okay.
Yeah.
And now you've worked through a number of forms. I know we've got
Yeah.
A, B, and C now.
Yeah, so you have A, and on Thursday night, you'll be voting on B and C. So B is your preliminary subdivision. Preliminary doesn't really require, I thought, a lot of detail on the plans. It's just preliminary. And so I didn't really add a checklist to that one. But on Form C, I took all of the checklists out of your rules and regs so that it matches exactly what it is that they would probably see in what you've already voted on. And that should be ready to go for a vote on Thursday night. We have also just started using the forms, Form A, and you have site plan review, which you voted on at last meeting, which both are up on the website. And there was an A&R that came in, and they're now using the new application, which is, I don't know if Kathy might want to speak to this as well, but it's a nice checklist to have when you're taking a look at the application to make sure, oh, did they give you the original and a copy? Did they give you enough copies? So you're just looking at each and every item. And then you go to the plan, and then you look at each and every item and say, yes, they've met all these requirements. It would be ready for the planning board to make a decision on that night if they needed to. Yeah.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah, that's exciting. I was like, it's like, it's gonna work.
Thank
Yeah,
you for that.
yeah. And it's good for you too, when you're looking at the plans, to make sure that they're hitting all your high points and things that you wish to see.
Okay.
Does anybody else have any other items that come to mind you want to ask Nancy about? I know David, you were out last meeting. I didn't know if there was anything you wanted to check in with her about. John,
no,
Dan.
Not yet. I'm quite interested in what Derek Maskey will bring in. Not
Oh,
this next one, but the one after that.
Yeah.
Or just to update you, he never did come by the office, so I didn't hear from him.
On my keyboard.
okay, so he didn't come in to meet with you, huh?
No, he never stopped by.
Yeah, I don't know if he realized you were leaving.
No,
when
I
he
don't think he
was there.
did.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
I'm
I
sorry,
guess-
I didn't reach out to him either, so I didn't tell him.
So I guess I could potentially email him and just let him know that, you know, you've left if he wants to come in and well, I don't really want to put it all on Kathy because I know she's gonna have a lot on her plate right now. But I know you had talked about connecting with Serped and that there are Mass Works grants that
Yeah,
help.
so, yeah, it would be mass development. And I would think that the town could reach out directly to mass development. But it'd be up to the owner, and up to Derek, if he would be willing to work closely with the town. And he would have to, sign something to that statement so that, he's a committed partner with the community and coming to an agreement on what would be the best and possible uses for the site. And Mass Development has a number of different programs under their umbrella that help anybody in the position that he finds himself in and a community that wishes to see, good things happen to a site. In the past, I have worked with them before on other parcels, one that was owned by the community, so it was a little easier. This is definitely doable though, and they came up with, a rendering and the outcomes, what's most likely to be developable at this time and futuristically within the next 5 years. As we know, like the situation is changing rapidly. There isn't as much, there's like no big box, very little solar coming in at the moment because we've saturated that market as well, marijuana saturated. We're seeing a lot more of the construction bays and storage facilities for some reason are a hot topic item. So I'm not sure, where that conversation would go, but you would definitely be able to have a richer conversation between and cross the town as well as with the developer. And it sounds like he is willing to do that. But like I said, he would have to really sign something and be committed to that process as well to move forward with a grant from them or an opportunity. They usually do it through technical assistance. The nice thing about the Mass Works program is that Mass Works administers the technical assistance, so they hire their own, tech doctors, they call them, and then they then do all of the administrative of it so that you don't have to do that part of it, which is, very helpful. Because then you don't have to use someone in the town hall's time. So, and it works out very nicely there. It's a nice mix. I found it to be very helpful. And they came up with very good schematic plans that the town was, open to. They had created walking paths through the whole project so that people could connect from one place to the next and made it just a really, a nice development for everyone to approve. Yeah. Because that's, I think, what he's really looking for.
And
I
it's
don't think
funny
he's-
because so you actually brought to mind another, I guess, entity that's reached out to us is the funeral home off of 105 was recently bought
Correct.
out, and they've
Right.
reached out to the town and they said, they're going to keep it as the current use for now, but they're willing and interested to work with the town. So I find that interesting since we're currently working with 19 Main Street and 43 Main Street to see if there's
Opportunity for,
Right, something, some sort of overlap, some way of working with the town to get, whether
Yeah.
it's a combined egress or a town road in that area that would set us up to eventually potentially put a stop light at
Yeah,
that
right there.
dangerous intersection. So I think it's interesting that now we have the other site right in that area reaching out. So I think that's good. And maybe the next time we have a meeting, because we did have that meeting.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that Cynthia, the owner of 19 Main Street, she does send a letter to the select board. She was going to copy planning board. So Kathy, keep an eye out for that too, if you see it.
Great.
I'm hoping to maybe loop them into the next conversation so we can sort of gauge what options are available.
Where
And
does,
then I'm sorry, David, go ahead.
I was gonna say, where does Rhino stand? You know, while I was gone, the thing blew up about the landfill and needing a grant for it. I haven't heard anything from anybody further on that. Any
Michelle, do you want to?
I didn't actually watch the last meeting. I left before they came on with the select board. So I'm not sure exactly where it landed, unless you know, Nancy. I don't know.
I do not. I do believe that they were gonna try to move forward with conversations to see what is possible on that site, but the actual outcome, I don't have a positive on that. And just to back up to the intersection of Bridge Street and where 19 Main Street is, and that whole area. So a conversation is in the process. I gave it over to the town administrator. The contacts at Serpide were setting up a meeting with MassDOT to talk about what is possible on that route in order to make sure that, you know, safe egress and ingress out of that site as well as along the corridor is successful as it becomes more developed.
Okay.
Whatever happens with 17 Main Street, 19 Main Street, and 43 Main Street all play or have an interplay together. So it would be good to have MassDOT on board and in discussion as things are changing on the ground pretty rapidly.
Right. Yes. The other thing that I've spoken to Nancy about was the possibility of her potentially staying on as a consultant. Now, that's not something, I know this board had previously about a year ago, well, almost a year ago, I should say, we discussed looking into a consultant. When we're discussing what to do with the town planner position. At this point, I feel like there's so many things coming into town right now, and so many projects that you are in the middle of. I would love to see you be able to help us move these things forward. I know it's not on the agenda this evening, but I was hoping maybe we can get it on for Thursday. If this board is in agreement to discuss and maybe take a vote on it. But if, I'd like to get everybody's input on that if that's something like an interim type of consultant while we pursue
Too, yeah,
filling
other
that role.
options, what are other, what we need to do. No, I'll agree 100% with you, Michelle. I think Nancy it was better with you than without you. So,
That's very sweet.
Yeah, no, definitely. It was definitely a pleasure. And I think, you were getting the momentum going for us, with that. So no, I'm all for that. If we can keep you on in any capacity, that would be, beneficial for us and the town, I believe.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
Absolutely. Can we make it a permanent consultant if possible?
I would
No.
not be against that.
I know. I would agree. I think that is a great way to kick off a discussion for the next meeting, and something that we should definitely look into. I definitely agree with what John and Michelle are saying. So I think that would be great.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I'd be happy to help.
I'm on board with that too.
Thank you, David. This is our not, I'm not a big Zoom fan, so I'd be all like,
Yeah.
this little stoic face of mine is just like in the camera.
High
But
fives.
Yeah.
no, but I'd be
Right.
happy to help you. Anyway, it's up to the community to decide, but to bridge the gap between, you know, my leaving and someone else coming on board, I'd be happy to help keep you going and help you in any way I could. Again, you
So-
could always reach out to me and ask me the questions that you need to as well.
Oh, I will.
I'm no further away, no further away than from this thing. So, yeah.
So,
Happy to help. Happy to help this community out.
I hate to do this, Kathy, but could you add that for Thursday for
Yep.
a discussion, possible vote on a recommendation for a consultant to send that to the select board? Obviously, it's not up to this board to make that determination, but or to figure out how the funds could come, you know,
Logistically,
from
yeah.
the budget towards that. But I think it's worth looking into because I can't imagine going back to not having
Mhm.
you with us. It's really, it's hard. You fit so well with our board, our community. I felt like I don't want to lose you. So I'm hoping
Yeah.
that you know something can be done to
Yeah.
further that.
I've told everyone how open you have been to my position here. It never happens like this. No, it takes years sometimes for a planner to really kind of settle in with a board, but you've been so open and so lovely. I don't have all the words to describe how exciting this has been and how sad I am to leave. You know that too. Yeah.
So are there any other items that anyone has under this agenda item number 4 for, oh no, for under 3, under the outstanding items? Are there any other items?
I can't think of anything on my end. Oh, I don't, did you want to talk about the zoning map at all? Is that not something you wanted to reach?
Well,
We can
I
hold till Thursday night. Are you going to be talking about the zoning map on Thursday night?
so the only thing that, I mean, I had a conversation with the select board chair and she had mentioned, you know, it shouldn't say zoning map, and I'd asked if that could be changed.
Yeah.
But since we don't have the program, we're not able to change it, but I know on the link, it says the link that you click on, so.
And it still has the disclaimer on there that it's for planning purposes only. I wish I could change it myself, but we don't own the program in town. It's a very expensive program. And the student has moved on. So I would feel bad to send it back to him and ask him to change it. So,
Right. Understood. It's still, you know, for a planning tool, I think it's excellent. And might as well use it if we have it.
Yeah.
And we already did vote to accept it and use it.
Mhm.
Our next agenda item, next meeting is this Thursday, March 27th, 2025 at the Lakeville Police Station. It's our regularly scheduled meeting. And then our agenda item number 5, I'm going to read this and then we're going to log on to the next link.
So before you start,
Oh, yep.
Madam Chair, so because we had signed on to this earlier, it shut down automatically, I guess, when it's idle for so long. So I tried to reach out to Tracy to see if we could get that back, but at this point we can't. She hasn't answered me. So we would have to go with what LakeCAM had said.
Okay, if that works, does that work for everyone?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what do we have to do? I forget what he said. Wait, what did you say at the beginning?
Well, I think Jose just said he'll sign off and he'll let us take over.
Okay. So do I have to kick him off?
Um, Let me read this,
Yeah.
agenda item number 5, possible executive session pursuant to General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 21A1, to discuss the reputation, character, physical condition, or mental health rather than professional competence of an individual, or discuss the discipline or dismissal of, or complaints or charges brought against a public officer, employee, staff member, or individual, and not to return to open session. So with that,
All right, I guess I'm gonna kick him off then. I remove him, right? I can't remove him.
well, he's gonna have to stop recording and also,
So it's a roll call vote for that?
oh, we have to take a vote to do it? Okay. So-
Yeah, in a second.
Okay, we need, so that's a motion. So I need
A
a second.
motion, second.
Yeah, I thought there was something that needed to be read. as
All
part
in
of the
favor?
second. Okay.
So go around, roll call. You want to start, David?
Lodge, aye.
Wilga, aye.
Cabral, aye.
McEcker and I.
I can't, let me see.
With that,
I can't, yeah, I don't know how to, I can't get him off, so I don't know if you want, if I, let me see.
Up in the
Well-
top right-hand corner.
Yeah, it doesn't give me the option because he's a host. I can't kick a host off.
and it has to be, it can't be streamed and it has to be,
There should no be any streaming
Yeah, I'm
of
trying,
the
to yeah,
executive session. Yeah, so I don't know if Jose can hear you or not.
nope.
No,
I've been
I
trying
think-
to, ask him to unmute, but can you hear us?
I think what we should do is maybe end the meeting
Yep,
and then
jump
we'll,
back on.
yep, and I could send out a link because I do have a Zoom account.
Okay.
I'm
All right,
sorry.
so,
Oh, well, hey, sorry, yeah.
You ready to adjourn?
Oh,
yes.
Okay.
Well,
Well,
we're ready to go into executive session. Are you able to stop the streaming and the recording?
Yes.
do we